Hello, world. I am not exactly fully running on all cylinders. I'm knocked out due to long COVID, which I've now had for 3 years. It has developed into something which is probably, I'm not entirely sure what is that there. It's difficult to tell. Oh, it is nothing. A problem with the beard is you never really know what might be in it. But anyway, problem with long COVID is you really don't know what you can do on a day-to-day basis. And I don't know what I'll be able to do shortly. My brain goes foggy a lot. There you go. There it was. That was it going foggy. Now, also, I am 65 now. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but it sort of snuck up on me. I've been recording these things. In fact, the only one that I know I've got as a dated recording was when I said I was 23, and I've been doing it for a heck of a long time. That was an audio recording. And because audio is sort of easier to deal with, or at least has been, I'll get on to something sort of worth listening to in a minute. I'm just setting the groundworks here. I've been doing podcasts, Torty Talks, for now 5 years apparently, but I've been recording onto audio tape since 40 years ago. Well, longer than that. And I've got quite a lot of them, and I should have more of them. And I plan to make a sort of a retro blog to recreate the world as it was as I grew up and moved through adolescence and into the senescence that I'm stuck with now. I don't can't tell the difference between being an old 65-year-old who's just retired due to ill health, or somebody who's suffering from long COVID, or indeed somebody who's suffering from cancer. Now, this hasn't been sorted out yet. Anyway, why on earth am I talking about any of this at all? Well, it's because most of this time I have been fiddling about with computers. I was a videotape bloke in the days when there was videotape. And in VT Shift 1 and BBC Television Centre in Wood Lane, Shift 1, for some reason, decided to start building 6502 computers. That's the chip, the central processing unit. Shift 2 went for the 8080s, which turned into the IBM clone PC thing, Windows. Well, the shift I was on started working with the 6502, which turned into BBC Micro, which turned into the Archimedes RISC machine, which turned into almost every single mobile phone on the planet today. Yes, including the machine I'm using at the moment to record this on. So I've been sort of computered up since 1988 or something. I have never been any good with dates or timelines or anything, but I think that's close enough to be accurate. The point is, I have had my finger, if not on the pulse, pretty close to it all that time. Now, what has driven me to the great act of recording a video, which, if my podcast viewings are anything to go by, will never be seen by anybody. I want to put on record the fact that I am aware that the single greatest, fastest change in computing technology, which also these days means in human technology, that there has ever been, is happening at this very moment. And this is artificial intelligence. Artificial general intelligence, which is basically life in a computer. And we might already have it. It's possible we do. When I engineer this machine that I'm talking to at the moment, which is 2 years old, and I still consider it to be brand new, top of the range, which it isn't, I can talk to it and it will talk back without me pressing any buttons. Now, that's a bit eerie. Not quite as eerie as the comedy film I saw when I was 10, which was a comedy film in which a mad scientist developed a female robot that smoke came out of her ears when she smoked a cigarette, which of course everybody did in those days. And that was extremely funny. And for 10 years, I had a nightmare about this robot, this seemingly human creature thing going wrong, looking like a human but then acting completely unpredictably and with greater strength and possibly... No, I only thought of greater strength. None of the ones in the television shows or in the science fiction I've read at that point were super intelligent. And I was plagued by this bad dream forever until I realized that what I had to do was to search for its off switch. And one night in a dream, I found the off switch. End of problem. Problem is now back somewhat, in that these robots now exist as real things. They also are potentially imbued with superintelligence. Now, finding their off switch could still be feasible, but I've got to cope with that somehow. I'm not overly happy about that aspect. But the other aspects are extraordinary, and these, I finally got round to the point, are the things that I really want to make people aware of. And that is the superintelligence that we've got coming out of computers are capable, actually at this moment, solving problems that humans have attempted to solve for decades and failed, and can now do these problems. I'm thinking specifically of protein folding. Can do in a couple of hours in a day. Now, why do you want to fold a protein? Well, the reason is so that you can work out what the thing will do, or indeed make one that'll do what you want it to, because you now know what shape it is and you've worked out what things of that shape will do. You'll be able to make medicines, genetic setups that will fix basically anything that's gone wrong with you, like, for example, long COVID, or another one, cancer, or another one, old age itself. You see how beautifully these things all tie together? Well, this juxtaposition is the thing that has driven me to say something. I'm putting it out in the world to say, well, I'm most definitely not the first one to have told you so, because if you've been listening, it's been saying these sorts of things for 40 years. And I, on Talky Talks and various other places, have had a go at saying these sorts of things. Now, what do we do about it? There are... Point one, there's no way of stopping it at all. Because if I, on my laptop here, can do it, and everybody's got the internet now, and 2/3 of the planet which haven't got the internet will have it in a couple of weeks. and will have the ability to run all this software on their mobile phones wherever they are on the planet. We've got a huge amount of options of intelligent people doing incredible things with software that we haven't even thought about. And that's just people doing it. Now, artificial intelligence has got to the point where it can think of things itself and do it to itself. This is called Auto GTP. And this is a bit frightening, but it is capable of catapulting us out of a dependence on anything on which we depend at the moment. You know, fossil fuels, power, in a way, food. Because if you've got the power, you can do anything you like. It has the potential to get rid of money, because that would be the side effect of taking everybody's jobs and leaving us in a position where, while we still need money to buy food, or in order to stop riots in the streets, we're all going to have to be given money, universal basic income, you see. That's the sound of my wife leaving. I've said this so many times, she's got thoroughly bored of it. And so the rest of my family says, it's your turn now. I've got to, I think, help the world get ready, prepare itself, because if you just let artificial intelligence roll over you, you will have no control over the future, no control over your own future, no input to what comes next. Not that we can tell what is coming next, but we've got a chance, if we can see what's going on, to at least steer and manipulate it as it happens. We can't predict what it is, because we're in a situation where the changes are happening exponentially. And I've just seen in a video I watched that on a logarithmic chart of growth, which is an exponential, in which a straight line shows doubling every graduation. It's an exponential on that as well, so it's a double exponential. So that's not only my maths is inadequate to describe that, but also my strength is very much fading. But the point is that we must think about, pay attention to what is going on, and prepare ourselves for the fact that we are going to have to accept computer control over every aspect of our lives. Not that we don't have it anyway, but we're going to be able to get ourselves fixed. We should be able to have an individual, personalized health care plan that will change as we physically change. This is one of the things that will happen pretty much first. We will be in a position where we will be cured of a disease before we know we've got it, and may never know that we had it or were indeed cured from it. It's very probable that old age itself would be a thing which could be cured. Now, what the heck's that going to do to society? These are the sorts of questions we're going to have to think about. Jobs are something which are going to... Manual jobs. Physical, heavy lifting-y jobs can be done by physical, big computer-y controlled heavy lifting objects. But subtle stuff is going to be looking after people, that the care industries. Would you rather be looked after by a human or a perfectly personally adjusted to your needs robotic thing? people have fallen in love with robots and wanted to marry them. All right, people have married walls before now, but I'm not talking about somebody who's actually mad. I'm talking about somebody who's recognized a kindred spirit in a device which has effectively designed itself to be your kindred spirit. Yeah, I'm rambling. My line of thinking is soggy. But you get the general idea. The general idea is keep your eyes open. Just check to see what's going on and talk to everybody about it. And oh dear, don't waste your time doing things you don't like. I think that's a good thing to say, because it's very possible you won't have to do it. How we can... We've got this wonderful world that I'm just talking about. Wonderful, terrific. We've got the crap one we're in at the moment, and we've got this period of transition. And the crap one that we're in at the moment is crap because of this period of transition. Quite how awful moving into the wonderful green fields of Elysium brought on by artificial intelligence and green technologies and all of wonderful fun of the fair of the end of scarcity and stuff which has been spoken about for 50 years to my knowledge. It's happening now. And the riots in the street in France, where they're complaining about the pension age going up from 62 to 64, which I think is rather funny, being 65. We're going to want... Well, what do you think? You see this colossal range of questions which are opened up by this. What are we going to teach our kids? What are we going to do as a job while we still need to have something that earns income? What are we going to do when we're at the point where we've got enough money to sort of stay alive, or money is no longer required? What do we do? What does that make us? What would people be apart from grumbling in the stomach? There we are. Those are my thoughts, and I have a little discussion on this matter, and press the little like button, and maybe even subscribe one, assuming I ever get round to figuring out how to make that happen. Okay, thank you for your attention.